If there's one thing we've learned about business and life, it's that people are the X factor. They constantly surprise us, both in amazing ways and not so much. We're Ben and Syya, and welcome to the Gnaw on This Business Bites podcast. This show is all about real life things we all deal with every day, how they relate to business, and how to make some sense out of our daily chaos. Welcome to the show. And welcome back to another episode of Gnaw on This Business Bites. I'm Ben, and this is Syya. Now, here's a question for you today. Are you still inherently curious? As children, we are curious. We are constantly asking questions. We are constantly asking why. We're constantly asking why again, and why again, and why again, and why again. And you know what? It may sound frustrating as adults to have that child ask why, but guess what? They're learning. Because as a young kid, they know what they don't know. And they don't know everything at that stage of their life. And they're trying to be able to figure out what are the boundaries of their life. What's good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong. Why do we turn right versus why do we turn left? Why do we go uphill instead of we go downhill? Why do we shovel snow? Why is rain wet? And we were all that curious at one point in time because we didn't know. We assumed nothing. We assumed that it was other people's job to give us knowledge and be able to help us be better citizens of the world. And unfortunately, as we get older, most of us lose that curiosity. And whether that curiosity has been beaten out of us within the systems, whether we call it school, university, jobs, social convention, whatever it is, we all lose that ability, or a lot of us lose that ability to be inherently curious. And I find that detrimental to society because we live in a society that is continually changing, that's continually evolving, that there's always something new to learn. We can't assume we know everything because it's impossible. Google doesn't know everything. Why should we? ChatGPT doesn't, hallucinates. Why shouldn't we? And if we are able to sit there and say, I'm not sure, I don't know, I'm going to go find somebody who's smarter than me in this particular area and learn from them, we all would be better off. So Syya, let's know on this.
Man, these topics. So curiosity is my word of the year for 2026, just so you know.
Nice.
It's funny, I never really truly declared it. So I just declared it, everybody.
There we go.
Because I love being curious because there's that wonderment. There's the joy of the adventure in discovering something new, right? And then for me, if we can tap into what helps us maintain curiosity or to remind ourselves to be curious, like in my brain, I think it's like a dopamine or serotonin hit, right? When I can say, "Ooh, I learned something new today," or why is that, right? Like, why is, I don't know. I hope, why does my mom say certain things that she does, right? As opposed to being like, my mom's mean. It's like, let's chew on this, right? Why is mom
mean?
Why is my mom mean to me right now? I have to tell the story. Speaking of my mom,
Go for it.
I have to share it because I think it's hilarious. But it ties back to curiosity. So I went to this thing, a movie, and I walked into my sister's house carrying a backpack, and I had tightened up the backpack because I was just strapping one arm. You know how you just do that one arm backpack thing? Well, in my rush, I put it on both sides, and I'm walking in the house, and I'm kind of dressed like homeless, hoodie, t-shirt, baggy pants. Walked into my sister's house, and my mom's just sitting there eating, and she just looks at me, and she just starts busting out laughing. And it was just funny because she was curious as to why I would walk outside the house dressed like that. But it wasn't so much my outfit. 'Cause I said, "Mom, this is the look. Baggy's in again. Aren't you happy about that?" And she's like, "It's not your outfit. It's your backpack. You're just walking like some kind of like, hunched over. It was a kind of a heavy backpack. Anyway, it was just funny because she was asking me, she's like, "What's in that backpack? Why are you?" And she just started asking me a bunch of questions, and it was just really funny. So anyway, you just made me chuckle along there because my mom was mean. My mommy was mean to me. Uh,
Your mommy was mean to you, but she was at the same time. He says, Why do you look so bad?" She said there and say,
I
"Okay,
know, that's so true.
let's sit there and delve into why does Sia look so bad, and what are the factors that could be fixed before I let my daughter out of the house again into public."
You
So
guys, full disclosure, my mom is 90. I am 51, okay? And I'm talking as if I'm a teenager still getting scolded for my outfit. I just think it's the funniest
listen,
thing. You just remind me of that. Thank you very much.
I don't
Um,
care how old we are. We are still somebody's kid. I mean,
true.
our parents are about the same vintage. Your mom's a little bit older than mine, but yeah, I mean, my mother still gives me these looks that make me feel like I'm 12 or 13 years old. And trust me, I haven't been 12 or 13 years
Been a
old in a long, long
few
time.
moon cycles. But yes, but I do think that's what also keeps us young, right? Is
Yes.
to have that maintain that sense of wonderment and you know or laughing at your child. And I think being curious intentionally so can help develop deeper relationships because you're developing more deep conversations and therefore
Yeah.
tightening the bonds. And so, in sales, we always say ask, the next question, right? Keep your client doing all the talking and
Yeah.
you listen, but you have to nudge them along. And that means be curious about that conversation, not prepare what your answer is going to be. And so I think now more than ever, if we can do it, we need to get back. It's almost like, oh, what if we host a curiosity party? I don't know. I think there's only lemonade in this. I just want you to know.
Oh, okay. The question is what's in the lemonade, but that's all right.
Ice cubes, young man.
Okay. See, I was being curious.
Again, after my movie experience last night, I'm definitely only drinking lemonade. But here's the thing. It would be interesting in these and it got popular after the pandemic, Zoom meetups,
Yes.
right? Community meetups. Is if we had like a Zoom curiosity party and just be like learn like and intentionally learn three new things from all the attendees or some stuff. And that way I think it'd be kind of fun. Would it
Yeah,
be
I mean,
fun, you
I think
guys?
that if we actually care about human beings, I mean, that's the thing. You're curious because you care, because it
Mm,
matters to you. If something doesn't matter to you, you're never going to care, you're never going to be curious.
true.
So the question is, we can't be curious about everything because our heads will explode. As we get older, I can't be curious about everything. I can't keep my mind on the Ukraine, the Middle East, what's going on in Africa, what's going on in Asia, what's going on. There's a thousand, there's a thousand, what is it? There's over 125 conflicts happening in the world today.
Mm.
Somebody fact check me.
Whew.
I probably know about a dozen of them. And I find that I'm probably far more well informed than most people. There are, minor conflicts, major conflicts, everything happening in the day. The news only reports on two because that's what they're willing to concentrate on.
Well,
Because that's, they only have enough space, they only have enough time, they only have enough energy, they only have enough resources, whatever. But there are, you know, another 80 to 100 conflicts going on in the world that will never hit a news cycle.
yeah.
And the question is why? And a lot of it comes down to bandwidth. We can't, if they, the news only reports on two because that's what they're willing to concentrate on.
Well,
Because that's, they only have enough space, they only have enough time, they only have enough energy, they only have enough resources, whatever. But there are, you know, another 80 to 100 conflicts going on in the world that will never hit a news cycle.
Yeah.
And and the question is why? And a lot of it comes down to bandwidth. We can't if we try to be curious about everything, we'll never get done what we need to get done in our life. The trick is to get curious about the stuff that focuses around who we are and what we do and why we do it. And if we have extra bandwidth, then we move out from there. If we try to be curious about everything, if I try to be curious about punk rock when it's just not my jam, I mean, it's taking up space in my brain that could be better utilized for something else. So what you're going to be curious about and what I'm going to be curious about are going to be different. And the neat thing is I can sit there and say, okay, Sia, give me a 5 minute diatribe on whatever. And you can spill it off the top of your head. I get a little bit of knowledge and I realize it's a little bit of knowledge on a topic, but at least I have some knowledge whatsoever. But I'm not going into the weeds
Hmm.
on any particular topic, and be able to have a deep dive in and as curious as I am on things that I really care about, dealing with communication, customer experience, and stake. So I think we
Hmm.
on any particular topic, and be able to have a deep dive in and as curious as I am on things that I really care about, dealing with communication, customer experience, and stakeholder relations. That's my jam. That's where I spend my time and my energy. So I deep dive on those things, and I leave the history of punk rock music to people the people that are passionate about that, and that's
Right.
cool. So I think as much as we need to realize that we need to be curious, we also need to give ourselves permission that there's only a limited amount of things that we can be curious about based on the bandwidth of our life.
Oh, goodness gracious. It just makes me think about how that curiosity factor. Again, I love bringing things back into our personal lives as well because your professional life always bleeds into your personal life and vice versa.
You bet.
And your call to action, everyone. Let's challenge ourselves and go to our partners, with whom I'm sure many people have been with for years, and discover something new about them because
Hmm.
we can easily stop being curious about each other. And that also, again, goes back to just letting life flow when you get in that comfort zone that you're like no longer, you know, excited. Like it's no longer that first date vibe. And I
Yeah,
think being curious intentionally so will help you get back to that first date vibe because, as much as I love to, say I think I know everything about my partner, I always discover something new about him and it always intrigues me. Right.
absolutely. And,
So,
and let's do that for the people in the audience here. Put in if you want, put something in the chat right now that you're curious about, or something that you're passionate about, or something that you're working on right now that's really cool and really interesting.
yeah.
Because the more we find out about each other, the more we can sit there and go, wait a second, that's interesting. I mean, people ask me today, what do you do? And instead of me going into this long diatribe of what I do, I said, this says, listen, people call me in when things are bent, broken, or bedlam.
Mm-hmm.
And then people go, what do you mean by that? And that leads the opportunity to get into a more detailed conversation. You
Ding,
know,
ding,
if
ding.
if all of a sudden people are now curious about me, now they're invested. Now they're interested. Now they're the ones asking the questions. If I go on to this long diatribe about, well, I work with mid to large size corporations that are business to business, companies that are $50 million plus and really less than $1 billion. And I get involved in things like change management. I get things in stakeholder relations, customer experience, a lot of communication having to do with change. That's about what I do. People go to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
But if you
I'm
tell
already going to sleep.
people,
What are you talking about?
exactly, and you know me well enough, but if all of a sudden I tell people, listen, I get involved when things are bent, broken, or bedlam, then people can take that and go, well, wait a second here. How does that relate to what I need? Now I'm going to start asking them questions based on what I need.
Right.
And it's a matter of being able to facilitate that curiosity as much as it is our role to be curious about others.
Ding, ding, ding. I have nothing to add to that.
You have nothing to add to that?
Well,
So let's,
partially because you put me to sleep, but yeah.
okay, well, wake up.
I don't think I've ever heard that voice out of you.
No,
Have you?
that voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
The
voice comes
wake
out
up.
every once in a while.
I know. I think I woke up on that one. I'm like, I'm in trouble. Do you do that? Do you do that voice with your kids, or have you ever?
Oh yes. And
uh,
when I say their full name, their full name, all of a sudden they go running in the opposite direction looking for mom.
oh yeah. Oh, they done messed up Aaron,
Oh
100%.
yeah.
Oh, that's too funny.
Hey, listen,
Uh,
let's leave it. Let's leave it there. We got to land this point. So my thing is, guys, be curious a bit about what you're curious about. Learn a little bit every day. Realize that this world is full of fascinating things, and let's make this a better world. I'm Ben,
I'm Sia.
and we'll see you soon.
Hey, hey, hey. Thanks for listening to another episode of Not On This Business Bites. If you liked what you heard, we most humbly ask that you like, share, and hit that subscribe button. If you want to communicate more effectively within your organization, contact Ben at IamBenBaker.com or me at BrilliantBeanMedia.com. We can help you build your community, brand awareness, and personality through digital content and podcasting. We cannot wait to hear from you. See you next week for another episode of Not On This Business Bites.